guys, it's me, Arctic the Rogue here. Yes, that is a different name than you probably know me by before. I thought this one was less cringy. So, if that's what you need as explanation, well, that's my explanation. Anyway, today I would like to do a video on what I think about early access. Early access is a very controversial topic, as it lets many games steal money from people and never get finished. If you don't know what I'm talking about, early access is a program on Steam where publishers can release a game that's not quite finished and is still in development, and people can buy it and help the development process. Now, this sounds good until there's developers that just don't finish the game and steal people's money. Today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons and what I personally think about the issue, as it's kind of a little bit of a gray area. Now, in terms of the pros, well, it's pretty simple. The developer, on the one hand, can earn money and take criticism and advice from the consumer of what they would like to see in the game. And the consumer side, they get to have a game that they get to have early. And another good thing is they usually get to have it for cheaper. So while you would normally have to pay more money to get a finished game, usually early access games go up during their development, which would mean you would most likely save some money. Now, this isn't true for all games, though. In terms of PUBG, well, PUBG is a little bit of a weird scenario. But anyway, those are the pros, and it seems like a great system because you get so much out of it, and the developer and everyone can have fun and do criticism, and it seems great. But here's the thing that's not great. Here are the negatives. A lot of developers don't finish their game, and there's nothing really making them finish it. It's not like people get their money back if it's never been finished. It's not like they have a refund system or anything, but that it's different than normal games. The only thing Steam does is it has a little thing below every early access game telling you it's an early access game. I'll probably edit that in. So then how are people supposed to get their money back? Because it's fine to buy early access games, and I'm fine with a game being in early access. There's some great games. Stuff like Sword of Sauce and Squad. Games like those are really good, and they're in early access. And they probably wouldn't exist without early access. But there's some games that have been notorious for having a lot of bugs, and basically how they make their money is they show a game that looks really cool, but the game isn't necessarily finished, so the developer ends up making quite a bit of money while the consumer ends up losing quite a bit. Now, this is the problem because, well, publishers don't even have to get out of early access. Again, like I said, there is no reason why developers have to take their games out of early access whatsoever, leaving games still in early access that have come out years ago. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a game being in early access for a couple of years, but it gets to the point where when it doesn't come out, it's a little bit crazy. There gets to a point where what I think about early access is that if the developer's still working on the game, I'm fine with it being on early access. But if people are just leaving it in early access because they know people are going to criticize their game if they don't leave it in there because it's not in a finished state, I don't think that should happen. That should not be allowed. Because basically what early access is becoming is an excuse to have your game not in a finished state and buggy and stuff. The game I mentioned earlier, Sword with Sauce, great game, has no bugs that I found. No bugs. I haven't run into a single bug. And the thing is, I don't mind a couple of glitch or two where something glitches out. Oh, well, now that I think of it, I ran into one bug with the elevator, but that, to be fair, I was trying to get that to happen. And that was a funny glitch. That was a funny glitch. I think I actually have that. I'll edit that in here for you to see. But anyway, yeah, this is what I think the problem is. People are giving games an excuse and saying, oh, it's in early access, and developers saying, oh, it's in early access for a game that's just not finished. There's only certain things that, like, for example, if something happens in early access, like you can't, I don't know, crouch properly, I would understand it. If, like, the crouching takes a second longer and it feels a little odd, I would say that would be an excuse. But when people say stuff like that, everything is an excuse. Like the game not even being playable, being riddled with bugs, where you can't shoot your gun or anything. That's the problem. That's the problem. People giving games excuses. And again, games don't have to get out of early access. And then there's the problem of people making DLC in early access, which I don't think should be happening. Early access is supposed to be a program to allow games to grow and get bigger. And for a little publisher to make a game, well, that's not so little anymore, and get it to an audience, and then allow the audience, help them develop the game. Help them choose what they want. And in a perfect world, again, this is what would happen. The developers would be helped by their audience, and they would have basically almost the perfect game since they have everyone helping them. But this is not what happens most of the time, as it never gets out of early access. Ever. A lot of games don't get out of early access, and this is not good. Because it means we have people that are just sitting, making games, having them paid for by people, and then when their games have been paid for by a lump of people, abandoning development. And some of these people will even start new games, which is completely retarded, and then the people will buy those games. And this is why people need to do research, and this is my advice to you if you're thinking about buying an early access game, and that is check reviews online, on Steam, everywhere. Check the publisher's back history to make sure. Check everything. Check early access games more than you would a normal game. Because with a normal game, it's pretty simple. You check the trailer, you check reviews. If they say positive or very positive, you usually buy it. And then you're done with it. But with early access games, you need to be a little bit more cautious, which I think is what a lot of people don't understand, and is why they ended up making mistakes. Also, look at gameplay from everywhere. Especially look at it from your system. Because if you look at gameplay from some guy, a YouTuber, who has two 1080s, or even one 1080, and you only have a 1050, you're not going to get the same experience. Because it usually is going to turn out that YouTuber probably has better stuff than you. So you want to try to make sure that you're not looking at an unfair comparison, because also the game may look better on one graphics card than another. So make sure you have your stuff put in there and you look it up on YouTube or somewhere to see what and how it runs. Because you need to obviously find out if it's going to run good on your hardware. I also think it would be great to have like a slider on Steam. This would be a great option because then it would take away the need for people to do this. If the developer could tell people what stuff was greatly optimized for their game. So someone could say, oh, I have this graphics card. It says this is the best graphics card to run this game on. I should be fine. Or if it says, my graphics card isn't on the list, I'm probably not going to run this game so hot, they can base their purchase decision off this. But all I have to base their purchase decision right now is, guess what? YouTube and online, which is not a problem, but it's not very easy for the consumer to guess and buy what they want. It's not very simple, which is the problem. And it should be a lot simpler. I should be able to know how the game runs. I should be able to. But I'm not at all able to see how the game runs on my computer. And it would also be nice for Steam to tell me how many games does that developer or publisher have that are still in early access. This would be very nice. So people don't just go, oh, this is... Because publishers can do that. They can have like 7,000 games in early access and Steam won't care. You can have multiple games in early access under the same developer and same publisher. Steam doesn't find that odd, which... Think about it. There's one developer developing 2 games at the same time. I find that a little odd, especially when it's an indie developer with like 2 people. I find that a little odd, and that may hint that you don't want to buy from that developer. It may hint a little bit that you may not want to buy from that developer. Okay, guys, that was my opinion. Well, some of it wasn't my opinion, but the end part was my opinion. So what do you think of this video? If you have any criticisms or advice or thumbs up, please tell me in the comments. I'm always welcome to any sort of community feedback. I would love it, in fact. Please tell me your opinion. Please. I very much so would like it. Also, if you have any video ideas, the comment section is your friend because I will read that. Also, you can go to my Twitter, @ArcticTheRogue, and tell me stuff there. I also like to scream at people there. Another thing is, if you little mini channel update, I guess I'll fit it in here. You may have noticed that my quality seems a little bit better. That is because I have upgraded to Vegas Pro 14, not 4. And also, I have gotten a Blue Yeti, so stuff's gonna be a little bit more higher quality. No more noise in the background of the sound, I hope. Like it was before. That was really cheesy, holy. Yeah, so I hope to see you again in a new video, and I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.